First of all, thanks for giving me your time.
You got it, brother.
Now, I'm going to start with thank you for saying hi in Periscope. Is this a true or not true question?
Okay.
You got into filmmaking, you got into being a director and an actor, and everything that's going on with you because you wanted VIP treatment at Fenway Park and at Patriot Stadium, Gillette Fields.
I mean, those are some sweet perks. But was that something you heard, or is that?
No, I'm just giving you shit.
I mean, of course. I mean, clearly,
right.
that's the agenda.
Right. By the way,
all things. It was really just a way to maybe meet Tom Brady someday. That's it.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg has pulled this off.
I know, he's nailing it. I know.
Dude,
yeah, trust me.
He's like BFFs now.
They're in there. It's driving me crazy. I got to meet the guy.
But please, I'm sure you've met Brady and everyone.
No, I never have.
No. Really?
Never.
How is this?
I've seen him. I was like close to him, but I didn't want to be like, I'll let him. You know, if it happens organically, it does. But I don't want to go stalk the guy.
So this is like someone who this is someone you're fawning over. You're geeking out over.
Oh, I don't even know how I'd handle myself. If I might pee my pants. Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the same page. I'd also lose my shit. Both diehard New England fans.
Yeah, man.
Let's jump into why I get to talk to you today.
Yeah.
What was it about? I would imagine that you had a choice of a lot of scripts, a lot of material that you wanted to possibly. You were being offered a lot of stuff, I'm sure, to take on as your directorial debut. What was it about this script and project that said, I have to make this?
It'd be nice to think that was the case. That really wasn't the case, though. You know, to be perfectly honest and frank. You know, it's you got to put yourself on the movie to get a movie made. In my position, you know what I mean. I've never directed before, no film school experience. So if I'm going to direct a movie, I got to put myself in it. That's like the way these smaller movies are getting made right now. The foreign pre-sale model. Putting yourself in the movie is what gets the movie on its feet. Then it's a matter of really finding someone who's willing to let you take a crack. I mean, my team's sending me all this material, but the truth is you end up realizing why the material is available because it wasn't very good. You know, I read dozens of scripts that were just, shit. And you're like, well, of course it's shit. No one else, it's coming to me. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Well, come on. You know what I mean? If it's a good script, it's going to get snapped.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, good material is got. You know, if they're like, oh, well, here's something that's available, and you're like, yeah, I clearly see why. And it's hard to find something that's great. That's why a lot of first-time directors write their project, and that's, I tip my hat to them. I wish I had that skill set. I don't know that I do. This was a project. We initially were circling another project. There was another script that I really liked, and it was a very ambitious undertaking. It was a very big project about the KKK and white supremacy in the South, and we did like a table read for it. It was just. There was a lot of moving pieces, and again, if I'm completely honest, I've never directed. I just want to get my feet wet. I'm not trying to. Someone had a great quote: "If it's the first time you're in the kitchen, you're not trying to whip up a souffle. You just don't want to burn down the house." So we tried this one project, and I remember thinking like, I need something that's just manageable. I need something that's a little more contained. And this was a script I had read years ago. This is something I read from like 2006, and I remember saying to my agent, like, what's going on? It was called 130 Train. I said, what's going on with 130 Train? Did that ever happen? Like, because it was something I was circling as an actor a while back. Joe Schumacher was going to direct it. And they looked into it, and they were like, yeah, it's just sitting on the shelf. And I said, well, send me that again. Let me read that again. I read it again, and it was, it was manageable in the sense that you got two people. It's all in one night. It's one location, New York City. This felt like, okay, this is something that I can kind of handle. You know what I mean? Again, like I said, I don't want to bite off more than I can chew. I don't want to drown on my first time out. But the script was very, the original script was very much like, Ron Bass is fantastic, but it was very much like all the hijinks that can happen in New York City, stranded in, and like the scene where she sings at the bar. It was a lot of that stuff. And we were like, all right, can we kind of tweak a little bit, let's lose a little bit more of the situational, circumstantial, kind of comedy and inject a little bit more conflict and emotion, and trying to go through a couple different passes with different writers, trying to get the script to a different place. But it ended up feeling, and like I said, it was a couple of producers who were foolish enough to give me a shot. And it just felt like, okay, this this is a good step one. You know what I mean? You're not trying to set the world on fire. You just want to get your feet wet.
Let me ask you, now that you've done it,
Yeah.
what's the one thing, is there one thing that you wish someone had told you on day one that you will apply to the next thing you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you could pass this on to the person watching
I
who's
know,
thinking about making a
it's
movie.
tough to say without hurting feelings. You know what I mean? It's tough to say because there are some lessons you learn, but it's
So there's secret that you will not, but you did learn something.
oh yeah. Listen, the things that you think are going to be the problem are not the problem, and the things that you think you got all locked up end up being a little bit of a nightmare. And I tell you. You want it to be on the page. If it's on the page, that's half the battle. I think that's the truth in any movie. If you got a really, really, really solid script, you're good. If you're going into it being like, listen, we're gonna, yeah, I know, but we're gonna elevate it. It's it, but it's gonna, trust me. Wait, it's that's not to say that can't happen, but you really want something solid on the page. What else? I mean, that's a pretty key. I mean, listen, we had such great writers. We really did. They were so fantastic. But, again, I think I'm, you're just trying to stay. It's a tricky thing to go into something where you really feel green and you really kind of feel like, listen, everyone be gentle. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure out as I go. And that's okay. That's okay. It's you obviously want to make something great, but you're just trying to get your feet wet. You're trying to get your bearings, and I loved it, man. I loved it.
What I have to ask you, when I spoke to you last time, which was like maybe a year ago, you were talking about you were looking at your next script, your next thing.
Yeah.
Have you located the next thing?
I got the next thing, and it's great. And I have a real bad habit. My agent said this. He's like, why do you pick these little damaged scripts that you try to fill? Sometimes I just read little things that I just see something that I really like about it. And you think, we're gonna make this thing great. We're gonna make this great. And that's kind of what the next thing is. It's a script that's halfway there, but it's enough there.
Does it have a title?
It does, and I can't say it because it's a studio film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's which is terrifying in itself. But it's like I said, I loved the experience. I loved the process. I really did. I'm a control freak anyway, so it's you get to come to set and people want answers. So they're coming to you for answers. So you get to kind of. There's a very rewarding feeling of when what you had in your head ends up on screen. Doesn't always happen. But when it does, it feels great.